Yes, villagers. In this episode, we got 4 things for you to put in your financial bucket list. So if you want to know if your recommendation is on it, you are in the right place. If you're new to this channel, welcome to our village. If you're a returning villager, welcome as well. So let's get into it. Welcome to Garden of the Mind, where we reduce stress, improve our health and fitness, and improve our financial IQ every episode. Now, during Corona, you probably were thinking about all of the things that you would have done, you could have done, and you should have done. Well, Corona seems like it's starting to come to an end, so you might get an opportunity to do all of those things. Financially, we got 4 things for you to get your house in order. Tip number 1, a will or a trust. If you don't create a will, then no one knows exactly what it is that you want. There was a time I was hospitalized, and 2 of my relatives began to talk about what it is that I told them in terms of what it is that I wanted. Now, after I got out the hospital, thank God, I found out that exactly what I told both of them was 100% correct. However, I told them at different points in my life. So I told one person one thing, and then later on, after I knew and grew, I ended up telling someone else something very different. However, if I had created a will, it would have been 100% certain exactly what my wishes were. Now, most people, when they think about a will, they think about having it go through a lawyer, a notary public stamp, and something that's on official letterhead, and something very, very official. Now, of course, that's best case scenario. Anything that you put down on a piece of paper with your date and signature can suffice as a will. Now, best practices is if you have someone else there to witness the fact that you did, in fact, write this. However, anything that you put on a piece of paper can be considered a will. Now, a trust is a lot different. It's when you make someone the beneficiary of some of your items should you pass away. Now, one of the benefits to a trust is that it allows it to circumvent the probate court. Now, once a person passes away, everything that they have goes into their estate. Then it goes through probate. Probate is when they basically list all of your assets, all of your liabilities, and they make sure that if you left a bill or anything, that gets subtracted from your estate. Once that completely clears, then everyone else can get everything that's remaining. All of the people who are put on your will will get an opportunity to get something from your assets. However, sometimes that process can take a long time. If you put something in a trust, then it's not included in your assets for probate, and it allows the recipient to completely circumvent the system and get everything immediately. Please research this information. I'm not an attorney, and this is not an attempt to give legal advice. Tip number 2, a healthcare proxy. A healthcare proxy is a person who makes decisions for you on your behalf when you cannot make them for yourself. Now, most people are saying, well, Chaka, I'm pretty healthy. I don't really need a healthcare proxy because I can make all of the decisions for myself about myself, making me the healthcare proxy. And you're 100% correct. However, now God forbid anything were to happen to bring your ability to make decisions on your own behalf in question. For example, traumatic brain injury, you're involved in a car accident, or something else where your ability to make decisions on your own behalf come into question. That may be questions of sanity, maybe mental health, a whole lot of different things that need to be ironed out prior to anything happening, so that when things do happen, you can say, well, listen, no, I don't want to be an organ donor, or I do want to be an organ donor, or I would like to have this operation, or if after a certain number of days, if I'm not breathing on my own, I want you to disconnect the machine. All of these things would be the responsibility of your healthcare proxy. Tip number 3, life insurance. Life insurance is very important, especially if you have people who you are responsible for. I did a whole show on life insurance. I'm going to include that link inside the description. The purpose of life insurance is to safeguard your income. So the people who you are responsible for at this point, should you pass away, they lose the benefit of your income this year and every year to come. So If you have life insurance, you would be purchasing protection enough for this year and the years to come when they can now fend for themselves later on down the line. Now, most people don't want to purchase life insurance because they think, oh, if I purchase life insurance, then I'm going to be worth more dead than I am alive. And I'm going to be questioning everyone's motives because I think they all secretly want me to pass away so that they can put their hands inside this life insurance pot. Well, that's one way of thinking. Let me offer you another. I had a friend whose mother passed away, and she had life insurance, and he talks about how she set him forward so well, he is now seeking to have life insurance, and he actually got it. But he talked about how he was able to spend the time grieving for his mother's loss as opposed to figuring out how he was going to pay for her passing and all of the other bills that she may have left behind. It is absolutely respectful for you as the head of your household or even a contributor of your household to have life insurance and not to allow your children to have to go through the pain of losing you and not being able to grieve because they have to figure out how things are going to be paid. Tip number 4, a document that you put together that has all of your financial assets, the account numbers, the telephone numbers to access them, the websites, and possibly the passwords. The reason why that's so important is because so many people pass away and people don't know all of the assets that they have because they didn't sit around and either talk about them or chronicle them in a list so that people know exactly where to go and how to access these things. If any of you know of anybody who was close to you who lost someone who was close to them, let them tell you the story of how difficult it was for them to find out exactly all that this person owned and how to track all of that down. As we live through this corona pandemic, I think one thing we can absolutely say is there is no such thing as a can't lose deal. Deals that were made in the past that seem to always make sure that you were going to make money are no longer making money. The whole landscape of the deals have changed. You have to now secure an emergency fund for you and your family. Should you lose your job, you have this emergency fund. Should anything happen, you have this emergency fund. This cushion is absolutely necessary moving forward. Now, pre-COVID, we had no idea that this was even possible. However, we are living through this right now, and we see that not only is it possible, it is probable. So we have to now line our nests in such a way where we always end up on top. We always land on our feet like cats. What conventional knowledge can you think about that was true pre-COVID and is even more true now? Can you think of any of those things? If you do, please put some of those in the comments so that we can all benefit from the information gained here. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, please click on that notification bell so you'll be the first one to know exactly what it is that we spoke about and are able to put that information into you being forearmed. And remember, thoughts are actions, words have power, and actions have consequences. I'll see you for Fit Fridays, where we will be showing you how to grow your own food from seeds. I'll see you then.